My parents instructed me to show my love by handing over my $437,000 house to my sister. I declined, which led to my father striking me on the head with a metal cake stand during the wedding. Then, her fiancé revealed a secret that shattered everything. Hey Reddit, people often say weddings unite families. In my case, it violently tore mine apart, both literally and permanently. But the issues didn't begin at the wedding. They began months before with a house, my house. It was the very first thing I purchased with my own earnings. When I bought that home for $437,000, I felt as if I had finally created something for myself. I painted the walls solo, moved the furniture by myself, and had my first meal on an unpacked box alone. But I wasn't lonely, I was proud. My family didn't share that feeling. For them, independence equated to betrayal. It was a Sunday morning when my parents invited me over for breakfast, which in our family meant they wanted something. As soon as I walked through the door, I sensed something was off. My mother's smile seemed forced, and my father's jaw was tense. My sister, Bella, the favored child, practically shone with enthusiasm. "Sit," Dad commanded. I obliged. Mom clasped her hands together as if about to reveal something miraculous. "Honey, we need you to do something for the family." I braced myself. Dad leaned in. "Bella and Thomas are getting married, and they deserve a solid start." I nodded slowly. "Okay." Mom took a deep breath. "We want you to give Bella your house." I blinked in disbelief. "Give what?" Dad reiterated, as if I hadn't heard him. "Your house." My stomach dropped. "You want me to give Bella my $437,000 home?" Mom nodded with pride. "It will show that you love her." I quietly laughed in disbelief. Why would giving away my most valuable possession prove love? Dad's expression darkened. "Because she's your sister," Bella interjected. "Come on, you don't even need that house. You're single. You don't have kids. Thomas and I need space." I stared at her, then at my own house. Her expression twisted. Dad slammed his hand on the table. "Don't talk back." Mom stood up, pacing. "Bella deserves this. She's always been there for us. She's always supported you." I scoffed. Supported me? Bella couldn't stand me. The only thing she liked was taking credit for my accomplishments. Dad leaned in, his voice low and menacing. "You will do this. We already told Thomas's parents you would gift them the house." My jaw dropped. "You told them without even asking me?" Mom waved dismissively. "You're being dramatic. It's just a house." Just a house? Just the thing I worked 6 years to afford. Just 47 weekends of overtime. Just every sacrifice I made. "No," I said quietly. "I'm not giving Bella my home." Dad's face twisted into something menacing. "You will, or you won't be part of this family." I stood up. "I guess I won't." And I walked out. But that was just the beginning. Bella's wedding was extravagant. Lavish decorations, a grand venue, enough flowers to fill a small country. Thomas, her fiancé, looked drained but polite. Always polite. I wasn't thrilled about attending but showed up out of respect, hoping they might treat me like family again. However, as soon as I entered the reception hall, Dad's glare shot across the room. He marched towards me, red-faced. "Why are you here?" "It's Bella's wedding," I replied gently. He sneered. "You aren't family anymore." I swallowed hard. Mom whispered something in his ear, her eyes darting nervously toward the guests. Dad clenched his fists, but took a step back. I focused on Bella. She looked radiant, glowing, gliding across the room. She approached me with a stiff smile. "You ruined everything," she hissed. "What?" "Thomas's parents think I'll be living in a house, a big one. They believe you gifted it to us." I shook my head. "Bella, I never agreed." "You embarrassed me," she snapped. "You embarrassed us." Her voice pierced through the music. I stepped back. "Bella, your marriage shouldn't rely on a house that isn't even yours." She glared at me. "You don't deserve anything good in your life." Then she walked away, leaving me standing alone like a ghost in the midst of her fairy tale wedding. The reception deteriorated quickly. I kept to myself near the dessert table, trying to avoid conflict. Yet my father continued to glare at me, pacing and whispering with relatives, pointing in my direction. Then, during the cake-cutting ceremony, chaos erupted. Bella and Thomas cut the cake, and guests cheered. I clapped softly, trying to stay out of the way. Dad stormed toward me. "You think you can show up and act like everything is normal?" he growled. I sighed. "Dad, please. Not here." He grabbed the edge of the metal cake stand next to me. "Maybe this will teach you respect." Before I could react, crack. He smashed the heavy metal stand into the side of my head. My vision blurred. Pain shot through my skull. Guests screamed. Someone called for help. Thomas's mother gasped. Bella stood frozen, either horrified or embarrassed. I couldn't tell. I collapsed onto the floor, clutching my head. Blood flowed warm down my neck. "Dad, stop," someone yelled, but he didn't stop. He loomed over me, shaking with fury. "You prove love to your family," he bellowed. "You give, not keep." Mom grabbed his arm, crying. "Jim, stop. People are watching." Thomas rushed to my side, kneeling swiftly. "Oh my God, are you okay?"
"Stay still.
"Don't move." He pressed a napkin to the wound, panic flooding his expression. "Someone call an ambulance," he shouted. I could barely hear. Everything felt distant, as if I were fading underwater. Dad stepped back, breathing heavily. Guests looked at him with disgust. Bella wanted to disappear. Mom continued to weep. She brought this on herself. She could have given the house. She could have stopped all of this. That was when something in Thomas snapped. The typically quiet and polite groom rose slowly, his face pale, hands shaking, voice icy. "No, she didn't cause this, but I know who did." Bella whispered, "Thomas, don't." He ignored her, fixing his gaze on my parents. "Because I know the secret you two have kept from everyone, especially your daughters." Bella's face drained of color. My mother staggered backward. My father froze. Guests murmured in confusion. Then Thomas spoke the words that made jaws drop and shattered my family forever. He stood over me, trembling with anger, his voice echoing in the silent hall. "I know the secret you two have hidden from everyone, especially your daughters." Mom stiffened. Dad froze. Bella whispered, "Thomas, please don't do this." But Thomas was undeterred. He looked directly at my parents with disdain. "Your parents," he said, his voice breaking, "aren't the victims here. They're the reason everything is falling apart." My mother clutched Bella's arm. "Thomas, stop."
He shook his head.
"No, she deserves to know." He pointed at me, still on the ground, blood dripping down my neck. "She deserves the truth you've concealed from her for years." My heart raced. "What truth?" Thomas swallowed hard. "Your house, the $437,000 one, wasn't the first thing they attempted to take." Guests murmured. My cousins exchanged glances. Dad snapped, "Shut up. This is a family matter." Thomas turned sharply on him. "No, this is my fiancé's wedding, and you assaulted her sister like she was trash." Bella trembled, mascara running down her cheeks. "Thomas, please, not here."
He didn't relent.
Taking a deep breath, he said, "Anna, your parents took out a second mortgage on your house 3 months ago." My body went cold. "What?" He nodded. "They intended to put the loan in your name without informing you." Gasps rippled through the room. I felt the ground tilt beneath me. Dad barked, "You're lying." But Thomas pulled out his phone. "I'm not. I saw the paperwork." Mom lunged toward him, but he stepped back. "Your parents pleaded with me to convince you to gift your house so they could avoid a bank fraud investigation. They were desperate." My breath caught. "Fraud?" Thomas nodded slowly.
"Yes."
"They were already behind on payments. They used your home's equity as collateral to cover old debts. Then they told the bank you had agreed." I stared at my parents, my chest tightening. "You put a loan in my name?" Dad pointed at me, his voice shaking. "We had to. Bella's wedding costs money. Life costs money." Mom gripped his arm, hissing, "Jim, stop talking." Thomas continued. And that's not all. He glanced at Bella. My parents found out before the wedding.
They warned me.
They said your family was hiding things from me. Bella shook her head furiously. No, Thomas. I didn't know, but he raised a hand. I believe you, Bella, but your parents. His eyes were still. They even asked me to help them manipulate Anna emotionally. Dad growled. We did what we had to. Thomas fired back. You tried to steal her home. The room erupted in whispers and gasps. Phones came out to record. My father's face contorted with rage. Thomas looked at me again, softer now. And Anna, there's one more thing. I felt my breath hitch. He held up a printed email, creased and stained from stress. This is what destroyed everything for me, he whispered. He unfolded it slowly. It's a letter from the IRS addressed to your parents. Dad lunged again. Stop, Thomas. Stop. Thomas raised his voice. They owe over $400,000 in unpaid taxes. My stomach plummeted. And if they don't pay it back soon, he surveyed the silent room. They will lose everything. Their house, their savings, their accounts. Mom broke down sobbing. Bella covered her mouth. Dad finally shattered. They were going to seize our home, he shouted. They were going to take everything we built. Thomas's voice softened, but only towards me. So, they intended to sacrifice your house to save theirs. I felt something within me crack open, something that had held my family together in my mind despite everything. They tried to steal my future, I whispered, to pay for their past. Suddenly, my father grabbed the broken cake stand again, rage distorting his face. You ruined everything, he yelled at me. You could have fixed this. You could have saved this family. He lifted the metal stand again, but this time I tackled him before he could swing. Guests screamed. Chairs toppled. Security rushed in. Dad fought like an animal, yelling, She's selfish. She owes us. Everything we did was for her, but no one believed him anymore. 2 security guards subdued him. Mom fell to her knees, wailing. Bella clung to Thomas, shaking violently. The police arrived moments later. They questioned witnesses, reviewed the cameras, documented my head injury, recorded the shattered cake stand, and listened to Thomas's account. Dad kept shouting until they placed him in the patrol car. Mom pleaded with me to fix this, to take it all back, to erase today from memory. But something inside me had shifted, something final. When the officer approached and asked, Do you want to file charges? I didn't hesitate. Yes, I replied, calm and determined. I do. Mom screamed. Bella cried harder. Dad looked at me as if I had stabbed him, but I felt no guilt, only clarity. Thomas helped me to my feet, studying me. You didn't deserve any of this, he whispered. I nodded, tears streaming down my face, not from pain, but from the truth finally emerging. Dad was charged with assault. Mom had to face the IRS alone. Bella and Thomas postponed their wedding indefinitely. And me? I walked away. I stepped out of the reception hall into the evening air, holding an ice pack to my head, blood staining my dress. But for the first time in years, maybe my whole life, I felt free. Not because the truth destroyed my family, but because the truth finally rebuilt me.